It's been too long. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while. So I have excuses, but I won't bore you with them, at least most of them. I was busy for 2 weeks and then spring break and then I lost my battery and it was a whole thing. But I'm back. So freshman year is almost over, which is absolutely crazy. I only have about a month left and then finals, and then that's it. What? Today's been a good day. Got a free t-shirt, got a soda from one of the little food trucks here. It's like a coconut Sprite soda thing. It's really good. I forget what it was called. I'll put it here. Delish. So thank you to everyone who's continued to subscribe while I've been gone. I appreciate it. A lot of you guys have been watching my college application video, so I think later on I'll make another video about actually I already did college application tips. A lot of you guys in that video were asking about my high school GPA and my test scores and stuff like that. So maybe later on I'll make a high school experience video, but I don't know. I just feel like that's so different based on where you're from that it wouldn't be very helpful, but maybe I'll make that video. So if you want that video, let me know. But now, since I've been in college for almost a year and I've done pretty well so far, I know freshman year is the easier classes, so it's gonna get harder from here. But today I thought I'd talk about some organization and study tips in college, because college is a whole different beast than high school. And I think I've got some good tips that I'll share. Some of them may be obvious, duh, why do you even have to say that? But hopefully some of these you'll find helpful. But yeah, so let's get started. Also, my hair is really frizzy because I left it in braids last night and I don't have that cute hair that makes cute waves when you do that. It gets gross. So, my first tip is one of the obvious ones, at least it should be obvious, but it's to go to class. A lot of people don't go to class. Don't know why. I do know why, but also I don't know why. But if you're not gonna go to class, at least go to the class right before you take the test, because usually 9 times out of 10 a professor will do a review or give a tip or give some hints and just talk about the test. So if you don't go to your classes, just go to the class right before the test, at least. That would probably be helpful. It'd be more helpful if you went, all the time, but that's another thing. So, go to class. My next tip is another obvious one, but it's to keep up with your planner. I know it's hard and you get a new one and it's really exciting and you fill it all out for the first 2 weeks, and then after that you never touch it again and it just gets lost in your backpack and whatever. But if you get your syllabus at the beginning of the semester and you put in all your test dates and all your homework and the things that you're 99% sure won't change, then you'll just have it all year and you can reference it and know when stuff is coming up. I've been transitioning to using the calendar on my phone and doing little different color-coded things on there, but usually I like having a written planner. But yeah, whichever works best for you, but definitely have a planner, if not with your homework, at least with your test dates, because 9 times out of 10 those won't change unless there's extreme weather circumstances. So that way you always know when your tests are, even if you don't go to class. My next tip is to make written flashcards. So flashcards, I feel first off are just super helpful for studying on your own and not needing someone else and just being able to quiz yourself, especially when you shuffle them around and stuff. But the main point of them, I think, is the written part, because I know for me, writing the flashcards is what really helps it get in my memory, because I know you usually type notes or maybe you don't even take notes, but writing stuff down and doing it over and over helps again your memory. So either write flashcards or write a little study guide, but whatever you do, just write it down because writing helps again in your memory. I also like writing in different colors, like with colorful pens and stuff, because that's another thing that helps with your like photographic memory is different colors associated with different things, and it helps your mind remember. So I like doing study guides with different colored pens. And to go along with that, my next tip is to print stuff out. If your professor provides a study guide or provides like little summaries or anything that's helpful for a test, usually they're posting it online, but I recommend printing it out because honestly, looking at a screen for so long can only do it so much for you. Whereas if you print it out and again, get different colored highlighters and then you highlight it and just make little notes, it just really helps put in your brain. Even lots of times I'll just print out the study guide they do and then I'll get like 3 or 4 different highlighters and like say each one's like a different category or something, or like term and like concept, I don't know. But whatever your system is, just using different colors really helps with your photographic memory, I find. Because I remember even the other day this girl was asking me and I was like, oh, that was in pink, and like I was remembering it. So yeah, that helps me. My next tip is to make to-do lists. So like I said, use a planner to keep track of when your tests are, but in terms of when you're studying, it's easy to say like, oh, just study math or just study science or just say whatever it is. But to actually make a to-do list of saying, go do these practice problems, highlight the summary, make this chapter flashcards, like making your studying very specific and task you can accomplish makes your goals a lot more attainable because they're quantifiable and you can just say you've completed them. And to go along with that, once you have your to-do list, set an incentive for yourself to finish it or to finish a certain number of tasks. So I know for me, that's like watching Netflix. So I'll be like, oh, Sierra, just finish this, and then you can watch an episode of Grey's Anatomy, or right now a series of Unfortunate Events just came out and it's just bringing back my childhood, so love watching that. But just setting like incentives. Also food is a great incentive. If you're like, if I finish this, I can go get Chipotle, then like I'm so much more motivated to do it, you know? Or if I'm like, I can't get Chipotle until I finish this, then I'm like, we gotta go. But that requires a lot of self-discipline. So work on your self-discipline, create incentives, make attainable goals and to-do lists. My next tip is something I think most students don't take advantage of, and that's emailing or talking to your professor. All professors offer office hours. I know sometimes those aren't convenient and they're not the best time, but if you're really struggling in a subject, I highly recommend going to talk to a professor because they're way more likely to be more specific to helping you if you go and make the effort to talk to them in person, because they really appreciate that 9 times out of 10. And if not, at least emailing them, because at least that shows you're making the effort to understand a concept. If when you're studying, if you have a question and you email them and ask, then after the test, if you don't get as good a grade, and then they see like, you know, this is the kid that comes to my office hours or emails me or is really trying, then like later on down the road that might be really helpful to have that relationship where they know your name because you reach out to them, especially in classes that are really, really big. So if you're standing out to the professor, then they'll be more likely to help you out in the long run, whether that's with your grade or just life, you know. So professors are a great resource, so use them. Also with professors, another thing they do sometimes is they post stuff that's like not required. Like, here's some not required practice questions, or like not required, you know, assignments or whatever. And even the ones that aren't extra credit, if it's something that's not required, it probably is like very similar. Like, I know I'm taking computer science right now and they post all these not required practices and they're all so similar to the test. So those not required things, maybe you don't want to do all of them because it's annoying to do stuff that's not helping your grade, but usually it's available because it's there to help you. So I recommend taking advantage of those, and again, that'll show the professor like trying to understand and not trying to just skate by, like you're putting in effort. A big thing that helps me study is to get out of my dorm room. So whether it's your dorm room or your apartment or whatever, just get out of there. Make your study place somewhere separate than your bed. Like, I'll do homework in my bed and things that I can be mindless about, but when I'm trying to focus and get stuff done, I go to a library or go to a coffee shop or even just anywhere. Like in the student center, there's so many comfortable couches and chairs and things and like little study areas you can go to, and it's just like a 5-minute walk. And if it's too cold outside to walk, I remember one time I think it was December, and I was studying for my final, and I literally just went downstairs to the lobby area where they had some like comfy couches and a table and studied there, because I just need to get out of my room, because it puts your mind in a different focus place. You're not as likely, I don't know, you're not comfy in your bed to like be like, oh, let me check Netflix, or oh, let me like go to the cabinet and get food. And you're just like at a place where you're like, I'm here to study. Because when you're in your dorm, you're not necessarily there to study, but when you leave with that mindset, then you're more likely to get more done during your study sessions, if that makes sense. That's just really helpful for me, just to like get out and go to a completely different space. So separate, relax, and work. Kind of like people who work at home. They always have to have like a separate little space for where they work, you know? And then this one may not be helpful for anyone, but it's really true for me, so I thought I'd just share it anyway. But I find when I'm busy is when I study the most. Because whenever I'm not busy, like during the week and I have nothing to do, like not much going on that week, studying, I'm like, oh, I can do that later because I have so much time, and then it's later and I'm like, oh, I can do it later or whenever, and you just watch one more episode or do one more like hour of nothing, and you just keep putting it off because you have so much time, and then eventually it just never gets done. Whereas I know when I'm busy and I'm like managing my time between like classes and my involvement and like meetings and whatever, then I'm like, okay, I have to study right now because this is my only time to study. And so then I actually do it. And so then I'm managing my time better to have study time. I don't know if this is making sense. But basically, when I have a lot of time, I'm less likely to study because I don't feel the pressure to do it right then and there. Whereas when I know like I have a lot coming up or a lot of plans that weekend or just things I'm involved with, then I'm more likely to study right then and there and get it done. So if you're someone who's not involved, get involved, get busy, and maybe it'll help you manage your time to study. I feel like this won't apply to other people, but for me, it's really helpful. Like usually when I'm at my busiest is when I study the most. I don't know, it's backwards, but it's true, so yeah. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below and comment some video ideas you want to see. I'm a freshman at the University of Alabama majoring in marketing. I live in a dorm. I don't know what other college things people want to see, so let me know. Thanks for watching.